effective for kids 12 and up.
Is that hers? Basically, the parents, one, the mom from New Orleans, the other from New York, and they took both cuisines and put it together. The original one is in Slauson in England, but they have one down there. I like it. So, I have the shrimp po' boys, they're bomb.
I had the shrimp platter, it was good.
And then,
And the banana pudding.
Ooh, it's amazing.
Yeah, I'm definitely gonna get some banana pudding. I'm ready.
Anything else I can help you with?
That's it. I really wanted cake, but I think I'm gonna be done.
All of my life you have given me favor.
Hey girl, did you ever finish that song?
Girl, no. I couldn't find a track for it.
You know what? I got you. My boy Axe Music just sent me this fire track that'll be perfect for that song. Hold on.
Wait. Axe Music?
Yes! Listen, the one and only, the
Turn up,
incomparable.
Jesus.
Well, here we go.
You see them blessings fall down on me. Yes, favor look good on me. They try to tell me that I'm lucky, but it's your grace and your mercy keep up with me. You got the juice, so I never get thirsty. Hungry, so I feast on your daily bread. Yeah. You make me feel so good right now. It's going up and the vibe's so right. And I don't know about you, but I feel alright. Alright. I see them lessons.
Thank you for joining Up for Discussion with me. On this platform, we discuss life, love, success. Any topic is up for discussion. Nothing's off the table. It's all up for discussion with me. Thank you for joining. So, I'm sitting here today with Joslynn James. Yes. And don't she look good, y'all? Check her out.
Thank y'all. Shout out to my stylist, Courtney London. Look her up on Instagram, all digital platforms. She's amazing. Book her.
Shout out. So, Joslynn, listen, I want to hop straight into it.
Okay.
Who is Joslynn James?
Ooh, that's a big question. Joslynn James is a sister, a daughter, a mother, a friend, I don't know, a minister, a Christian. That's pretty much me. I love family. I love people. Joslynn is just an ordinary person who God decided to do his work, seriously.
So, Joslynn, go more into detail. A little more into detail. I want you to break this down.
Okay.
Tell us about, where you're from, where you are now,
Okay.
where you going.
Okay. So basically I grew up in Lake Elsinore, California. It's a little town right outside of Riverside. Family is from Haiti, but they came here, so I've been raised here my whole life. PK, which is a preacher's kid. My grandparents were pastors. My mom, my dad were pastors, ministers still to this day. And so I grew up in church, you know, and had a pretty, you know, I guess you could say, typical church growing up in church from Monday to Saturday, or Sunday to Saturday, it seemed like. Got a nursing degree, and then that's just what the thing to do, I guess, just to get a degree. And then the Lord ended up calling me to do something completely different. I mean, I sing, you know, in church PKs can pretty much do everything. Right. And so growing up, being a kid that could sing, pray, teach, preach, all those types of things, prophesy, you name it. I was kind of in this rut where I didn't know there was anybody like me. And then went to college and ended up meeting with some friends. And we went to a function, and I just so happened to meet someone that was pretty prominent in the industry and was into, you know, placements for award shows and all those types of things. I started getting into that singing industry, which is SAG-AFTRA and all that kind of stuff. And was able to do a couple of major projects. I've worked with some pretty major names. I've worked with Disney. I've worked with Whitney Houston, Shaka Khan, Donnie McClurkin, Anita Baker, Lionel Richie and Londa Adams, the Clark sisters, you name it. Almost everybody you can think of in the gospel industry. Anthony Brown and Group Therapy. New ones is Todd Delaney. I've worked with Tasha Page Lockhart. Worked with her, and my pastor is Dietrich Haddon now. And that's one of my favorite. Shout out to Pastor Dietrich, Hill City Church. So I've had a very vast in the gospel industry, but also in the secular. I had the opportunity to work with the rock group Paramore. I actually won a Grammy with them. Okay. So that was a blessing, and I've won several other Grammys with projects that I've been a part of for background vocalists, all that kind of stuff. So I pretty much went to nursing school, and then once I went to nursing school, I got all these major gigs, and so I kind of was in the pickle of, okay, do I pursue nursing or do I pursue music? So I went with music. Still have that degree, still worked as that, you know, in between, because I do believe in funding your dream, amen. Me too. So I did that to fund my dream, to get me to certain places, and then from there, in the midst of all of that, I ended up being diagnosed with cervical cancer at 18. So I went through that battle, losing all my hair and all that kind of stuff, went through radiation, chemo. God healed me from that. When they gave me a death sentence, the Lord healed me from that and told me I would never have children, and I have a 7-year-old son now. Wow. So God has definitely made the devil a liar in every facet of my life, because there were even people in my life that told me I would never make anything out of singing, you know, or it's not a real career and you have to be this, that, and the third. And it's like, well, that's not what the Lord did for me, because I'm getting royalty residual checks that I didn't even know I could get, you know. Okay. And so, and then on top of that, you know, having your own, career as well as a nurse, all kind of stuff. But that's pretty much my life. Like I said, I am a mother to an amazing son. His name is Jakai. He just turned 7 on the 3rd of March. Okay. And he is
March 7th. Okay.
Oh, you see?
Yeah.
Yes, Pisces energy. That's what he is all day. He's super fun. He literally is just my miracle. I wake up to a miracle every morning. That's what I tell people. That's pretty much the journey. It's been a real journey. So fast forward to now, I'm the worship leader at Hill City Church with Pastor Dietrich Haddon and Lady Dominique Haddon. Both of them are phenomenal people. And I've been serving there pretty much the entirety of the ministry. They've been in ministry for 5 years. I've joined the church when the church was like 3 months old. So I've pretty much been there the whole time. So
a part of that foundation.
Yes, that foundation. So we're very, very close as far as just ride or dies. You know, we in the trenches, you know, setting up, cleaning up, you know, all that kind of stuff. That's me all day. So that's pretty much my life. I just love to serve in any capacity that I can. Yeah. So,
you know, I think that it's amazing. You know, going into leadership and opening a ministry, they look for people to be there with them in that beginning and to go, but a lot of pastors can't get over when people do walk away. Yeah. You know, and I think sometimes pastors clash when people do walk away from the ministry, and I think that comes with having to understand who's there. Right. Mm-hmm. From the beginning to end, and who's there to come on an assignment and to lead.
And see, that was the difference. That's what I love about my church, is because I was looking for a leader in the kingdom of God that actually is multifaceted. And Pastor Dietrich is multifaceted. He can sing, preach, prophesy, do all of it. And so finding someone that looked like me and then had the, you know, our main connection was prayer.
Yeah.
I love to pray. I believe that's one of my most powerful gifts, is just to pray for people. And so that was really our first connection. Was I went to a Thursday night Bible study, and it ended up turning into a prayer service. Like, there was no teaching, nothing. We just were literally praying for the community, praying for others. And that was the moment I was like, yeah, this is where I'm supposed to be. And the Lord spoke with me. And from that point on, I just watched God just continue to reveal to me that that's where I was supposed to be. Even down to him putting me on one of his records. So I was on the Hill City Worship Camp record with him as well. He's a Keeper is the song that I'm on with him.
Okay.
And so I did that song with him. And then now, fast forward to today, I've done some individual projects. I have 2 singles out now, one entitled Favor, the other entitled Tremble, all available on all digital outlets. Yeah, so he's been very supportive, and I love that because
That's a great thing.
Yeah, and him being in the industry and knowing how cutthroat it can be, he's been very supportive throughout the journey. He also has the mantra, I guess you could say, of covering without control, and I believe that that's a blessing.
That's a blessing.
Because I was in leadership before, where they want to kind of put me in just the box of, okay, you can just sing, so you'll just be in the ministry, in the music ministry. And, at Hill City, that wasn't the case. I was used in all facets of ministry, to teach and to pray and to, all of those, it was other things, other gifts that were stretched that I knew were there, but it was always shrink. So to be somewhere where you can just be yourself and not have to front or do it, you like, okay, I got to shrink this back because they may be intimidated. It's none of that. So grateful for that kind of leadership.
That is a
Because
blessing.
you don't see it very
No, you do not. You do not.
My previous situation was, you had to pray for that person because it was a lot. It was a lot of, you got to do it this way, and
Right.
if you step out and the Lord ain't with you, it's
Correct.
like, oh no, like I'm like, what? What kind of Bible you reading?
No, I think that alone is very touchy, because there's so many people, especially creatives. The guy that I was interviewing recently, I touched on that with him about being a creative and being able to serve God, and how sometimes it clashes because it's like we're not allowed to be unboxed because they think that you're being of the world or you. And I really believe that God has called us to be outside of the four walls.
That's right.
And He needs us in every industry.
And the thing about it is, God never really intended for us to be in the 4 walls. He said we are the church, which is the living organism, the body. We are. And so we are the church walking. And so that's what the Lord gave us. He gave us the ability to let our lives be a testament of who He is. And I think if we had that more, or at least that was exemplified more than just being, okay, we have to assemble at this temple at this time. And that's why even in the Bible, it talks about how God went in there and He tore them temples up. He turned the tables over everything, because He's like, this ain't my house, this is a house of thieves. And that's where that passage comes from, because it's like, yo, like, what the heck is this? So to see that is just amazing, to have that in mind. I'm grateful for the teaching that I had as a young kid, and in the Bible, and how the Bible works, and what servanthood is. But true servanthood is what being in ministry is really about.
Correct.
And I think that foundational teaching will help leaders and creatives understand, because my pastor was already established in the industry, and
He was already doing things outside of the box.
Most definitely.
So
And
I think
he-
that's a good,
And so he already went through the backlash and all of the church genre and all, he went through all the rhetoric. And to see someone make it through and be successful with that is a blessing. And I'm grateful that I was able to miss out on some warfare just by sitting under him. You know what I mean? Him teaching like, Josh, don't do this, do that.
Right.
And it's a blessing to have leaders that do that. So that's my prayer for most creatives, that they find a leader that's not intimidated by them, but will cover them and protect them and help them and guide them. Because, real fathers are supposed to do that.
Correct.
There's, like when you're going on this journey, you're supposed to have a father. You need it. You need someone that's going to show you, okay, I spent 20 years on this rock right here. And it wasn't until my 21st year that I realized I could jump off.
Right.
So when you find somebody, or you're a true father, you're going to grab the hand of someone that gets on that rock and say, hey, just jump down.
Yeah.
It's really easier than you think. Just do it. And when you encourage somebody to do that, boom, they're limitless. And then they're able to walk in the fullness of what God has called them to. So, yeah,
that's powerful. That part right there, that's ministering to me, because when I a lot of the things that I'm doing right now, a lot of the creative things that I'm doing as far as film, theater, Everything. A lot of that stuff I was kind of like held back on.
Yeah.
Oh, I was good at this one thing, so it's like, oh, well, you're doing real good passing out Kleenex. Stay there. And I was suppressed for so long, and so now everyone see me doing multiple things. They're like, oh, well, you all no. I'm just trying to make up for lost time for being held back and being held down. So I think it's so important for leaders, especially right now, where we have a lot of people. I'm not going to say they're falling away from the faith, but we have a lot of people who just want to do spirituality. And I believe because there's no outlet. They don't have as many leaders as we should. Taking the gifts that God has given them, even if it's outside of preaching behind the pulpit, even if it's outside of the roles, there is not enough positions in church.
There's just not. And you know, that's just religion. You know, that happens in religion. And that's why the Lord says, that's why people are going to spirituality, because he says walk in the spirit and not fulfill the lust of the flesh. This is why he said it, because when we get in our flesh, we start coming up with things that we think are right. But the Bible is clear when he says our ways are not his ways and our thoughts are not his thoughts. So how can you make a structure for something that you were never a part of to do in the first place? And so to have, you know, that type of mentality to think that you can box someone in, when we serve a God who busted out every box, every film of every fathom in our being, to the point to where even scientists can't deny that he walked this earth. Why would you think that you can limit his people? You know, but that's just because of religion, and unfortunate, I feel like it's a lack of teaching and a lack of studying. Because if you really stop mimicking and actually study, you would be blessed.
Yes, Lord.
Yes, I'm grateful for my grandfather. My grandfather was a steward of the word. I mean, he drilled that in us. We literally read the entire Bible at least 3 times a year. And I'm grateful for that, because it helped me understand and decipher what's real and what's fake. What's him and what's Jesus and what's the devil. You know, and so I'm grateful that I have that, and that's what I would encourage each and every person that I come in contact with. Please read the word for yourself, because people and man, I will mess up and throw you off. You know, anybody's can do it. So you want to make sure that you fall in line with what the Lord is telling you to do, because man will fail you 20. That's why he said this word, trust no man. So we man, even the preacher's a man, so sometimes you can't trust him. So you have to lean on your own trust and lean on the Lord only. And that's why he said, trust in the Lord and lean not to your own understanding. That's why he said that. Because I can lean on you today, she may be right, and then listen, the next day I go to lean and I hit that blow. You know, because you ain't there. But ain't nothing like the Lord being there with you every step of the way. And once you actually have the foundation, like everything I do in my life is based off of the Lord. He is my rock of my salvation. He's what I stand on. When I hit rock bottom, at least I know I'm with him. When I'm on the mountaintop, I know I'm with him. But it's like people have to get that concept in their brain. So I'm really passionate about, as you can see, I'm passionate about that, because I've been hurt by people in church. I won't say church hurt, because that's not true. I've been hurt by people in church. And so I've made it my mission to really, really be what my grandfather said, which was, Joss, if you don't see it, be the leader that you're looking for. Because there's somebody out there that needs what you didn't get when you were coming up. So every person I come in contact with, I try to be that. You know, if I see somebody younger than me, and I'm like, you coming up, like, okay, woman of God, coming together, get it together. That ain't the way. You know, I'm gonna kind of steer you over this way, because we don't have that. We have people like, for instance, we go out somewhere. Listen, I know I'm fly. You understand what I'm saying? I know I look good. Listen, all 250 of me. You hear me?
Good.
You understand? But if I were to come in this room with a supermodel, I would still feel the same way. And I wouldn't be intimidated. But see, in society, if you look a certain way, then that's it. That's the look. And it's like, when did we come up with these things? That's not God's will. He said we were fearfully and wonderfully made. And that's any shape that you are, any race, any color. You know what I mean? And so I just wish we get back to the book. When God can
get back to the book. Get back to the book, and I think that's good too. What you said about the teaching, I feel that there's enough teaching. And I say it all the time on my Facebook. That's why I'm like, oh, you? Yes. I ain't got nothing to say, because you saying it for me. I say it all the time on my Facebook. I say everybody's so in a rush to be the most anointed. They want to, everybody hopping from, you know, off the pew to apostle, and everybody's a prophet. I said, but we need teachers.
And is there a song or a rapper? The prophet rapper said it costs to be the boss.
Yes.
It costs to be on top, and that's even in the kingdom.
Yeah.
You got to suffer a while
Yeah.
before you get to. You don't know the price that people paid to be at the status that they're at.
Correct.
So don't covet their stuff, because now you're coveting their warfare,
Yeah.
and you're coveting, what they went through to get there.
Correct.
And so you got to be careful.
Yeah.
Of that.
We need the teachers, though. We teachers.
Yes.
Listen, if
Yes.
any teachers out there, God has called you to teach.
Yes.
I'm gonna need you to step on up.
Yes.
Don't be intimidated because you see everybody prophet this, apostle
Right.
this, or bishop this, or whatever. We need teachers because right now we're in a place where the world has advanced beyond the church.
Yes.
And that's in knowledge, spirituality, just in a lot of things they have advanced. Number one, because we don't have teachers. We have the mimicking going on.
Right.
A lot of sermons that are coming forth or whatever, they're not biblical sermons. And people are running with cliches.
Right.
They're running with protocols that are set in a church, which don't even really line up with the word.
Right.
And this is how people are being taught. And I think it's so important that because a lot of Christians right now don't even know how to defend their faith.
Yeah, right. And they defend themselves. They think that this is God's man, so technically what they're doing is right. And that's how you have a lot of people who've been, molested in church, or they sleeping with the pastor.
Right.
But this must be the man of God, so I guess I got to do this because this is my service. It's like, no, woman of God, that's not the service of the Lord.
That's not.
So it's so funny because my first lady and executive pastor, her name was Dominique Haddon. And she has a T-shirt that says "Defund False Prophets."
Okay.
And I'm in that ministry.
Okay.
Let's
Right.
defund the false prophets.
Take them cash outs down.
Look, check the page, Doc. But no, but seriously, because that's what happens when you trust a person so much.
Yeah.
You're like, okay, they got me here. They were there for me when I was broken.
Yeah.
So clearly they know what's best for me, and then that turns to an abusive situation. And so now you have unnecessary trauma and unnecessary warfare that now somebody else got to come around and help you. So just watch and pray.
So let me ask you this: It is a question. Okay. What would you tell someone who have experienced hurt in a church or by leadership, and it's like they're in that place to where, like, I don't know which way to go. I'd rather just not go to church anymore. Like, what would you tell someone who is in that current position right now? How would you bring them back to a place of reconciliation with God?
I would just say that once you have the mindset that the leader of that church is just as flawed as you,
Okay.
then you can help yourself forgive them. It's gonna take time, but forgive them and find another church, and get in God and find a teaching church and find somewhere where they're teaching the gospel and where they're fulfilling the purposes that God has called them to do. And I would encourage them, if you're online anywhere else, come over to Hill City Church. But there's other great churches that really believe in healing and believe in fixing brokenness and fixing the things that God has, that where the flawed men, we say men of God, but men of flaw, that's what I call them, men of flaw. When the men of flaw step in and hurt you, know that they need the same Savior that you're serving.
I agree.
And that helped me get through my stuff, was knowing that, okay, this person got trauma from his childhood, so of course hurt people gonna hurt people.
Correct.
So I can't expect this person to bring forth maybe when he's under the power of God, yes, he can help aid in praying for me.
Right.
But the problem is we have too high of expectations on our leaders, and we think that they can heal us and they can save us and they can bring us through and put us back together. It's like, no, they're just the conduit that the Lord is using for that moment. But it's a continuous work that you have to do in yourselves. I would just say, if you need to get therapy from a clinical psychiatrist or therapist. I'm just being real because I've done it. And then on top of that, pray. Get into a relationship and a flow where you spend time with God in the presence of God and let Him mend and fix all those things that you don't understand about yourself. That's what helped me. I mean, just because they don't talk about therapy at church, but we need therapy. We need therapy, and we need to use these people that God has skilled for those types of things, because back in the day they didn't have that, especially in the black church. They don't believe in therapy, but we need therapists because we've been through ancestral trauma that we have that's in our DNA. So we rehearse trauma that we never experienced.
Correct.
And until we until we deal with that, because the real oppression happened over 400 years ago when we were slaves. So if we talk about that, and deal with that first.
Yeah.
Then we can work on everything else.
Correct.
You know, accept yourself, accept who you are, and then move forward in what God is. Yes, he hurt me. Yes, she hurt me. Yes, that evangelist took advantage of me. But God, I give it to you.
Mm-hmm.
You know, that was my prayer. It was
Yeah.
like, God, I give it to you, and I ask you, help me.
Yeah.
Don't let me lose my mind. You know,
Okay, in the process.
don't let me lay unholy hands. I had to say that a few times because I had a fighting spirit. Lord, I'd knock you out in the church and drag you through every pew.
Look now.
But I had to
okay.
pray, you know,
Yeah.
and ask God to help you with that anger. And once you give, I really believe that once you truly say, okay, God, I give it to you.
Yeah.
Spend that time in meditation. Spend the first hour. We want to jump on Instagram, Facebook, everything. But the first hour I dedicate to the Lord, that I wake up.
Yeah.
I say, God, this is your hour. What we talking about?
Mm-hmm.
Even if I'm sitting in silence and listening to just my worship music or got my little meditation music going,
Yeah.
and I'm just praying. That's between me and you. And once you make that time and make those habits, you're gonna see, like, hey, I feel better. I'm not tripping. I can see him. Hey, how you doing? You want to buy you lunch?
Right.
You heard me.
Yeah.
Come on, sis. Come on, bro. Let's go to lunch.
Let's go to lunch.
And that's what I started doing.
Yeah.
And the Bible talks about that. When you're kind to your enemy, you heap coals over their head.
Yeah.
You know, so just continue to
Yeah.
go after God. Don't let that disrupt the
Deny
relationship
it.
and the beauty of who God is.
I think that's good. And I think, you know, two other things, you know, meditation and therapy. When people hear meditation, I know a lot of people, when they hear meditation, oh, you're into that. Oh, we don't do meditation in Christianity. But the Bible says to meditate.
Listen, day and night.
Does it?
Listen,
Is that the Bible I read?
meditate day and night on the word.
Okay. So, I think it's key, you know, to be, number one, going back to being taught. We have to be taught these things. In Christianity, I didn't believe in therapy because, number one, I was in leadership.
Right.
So I'm like, I can't let my pastor know that I go see a therapist. You know, so when I'm in therapy, I'm not even talking to the therapist, telling her everything, because I'm like, okay, I'm just going because, oh, I'm ex-military. So I'm just going because this is what we have to do. But it's like I wasn't open to it because it goes against what, you know.
What you're taught.
And, you know,
Keep
they'll
going.
look at me
You
like
got
I'm
this.
weak.
Fast
you
and
know.
free.
But it came a point where I was at my breaking point, where I was in between, like, okay, I can't talk to the church and I can't talk to my counselor. Who can I talk to?
Right.
And I began to talk to God, and he began to let me know it's okay to go to therapy.
It's okay.
So as she has said, men and women of God,
Get it together, Doc.
pastors, leader, prophets, apostles, listen, I don't care how seasoned you are in God. If you need therapy, go get therapy. We see too much going on with leaders who are in need of therapy.
Yeah.
Therapy. And I know sometimes it gets, I don't know the exact word, but when your congregation see that you're in a process where you're being healed, you think they'll look less of you, but that's on them because you respect who God has chosen regardless. We're all in the process. And like she said, we've gone through years of centuries of trauma. So all of us are in a place right now where we have to allow ourselves to be in a position to heal completely, so that we can truly see God's glory in this time. So if you're out there, no matter from the pulpit to the door, if you need therapy, go get therapy. We see too many pastors break down, go through, because we refuse to do simple things like get help. It's okay to get help from the pulpit to the door. Go get help. So I support therapy. Men, go to therapy. Okay. Stop bottling all that in. Go to therapy. So I think it's very key. A lot of what you said. So I think it's powerful. So go to therapy. All right.
Please, in Jesus' name.
So on top of that, tell us about something that you have coming up now. You talked about your 2 songs. Say them again.
So Tremble is the single.
Okay.
And then I have a song called Tremble.
Okay.
And then those are the 2 songs that are on all digital outlets. And
Tremble and
Favor.
Favor.
Yes. Tremble and Favor. And Favor was actually written a long time ago. And I was nervous to put it out because it was like, it kind of showed my Caribbean side, and it showed the side of me that's just laid back, but, you know, swaggy in Jesus. And I knew that I seen it in, you know, like the Pastor Dietrichs and the Kiara Sheards and all, you know, I seen that difference. Even in Tonay, which is now Be Slave, I seen that whole, like, funky rock star type. You know, I'm like, okay, that's kind of my vibe. Let me see, because I love me a good beat. And so I wrote this song like 10 years ago, and I was like, I don't think they're gonna like it. I ain't gonna put it out. So I just put it aside. And then the Lord randomly woke me up and was like, put out Favorites the time. And I was like, what? And I'm like, okay, let me do it, because it was a season where I was transitioning into divorce. Okay. So I was going through the process of divorce, and I was like stagnant for years because I was trying to pacify that particular person's ego and not supersede him. You know, as wives, we always want to make sure that they're good. And so I put it on hold for a long time. And so when I finally decided to release it, everybody was like, oh my God, where's this song? I was like, this song was written 10 years ago, maybe even 12. And they're like, are you kidding me? I'm like, yeah. And I just didn't have the encouragement. And on top of that, nobody around me was making that kind of music. Everybody was shouting, which is fine. I love me a good shout. But, you know, I was just, and I was like, okay, let me not put that out yet. I'll wait. And so put that out. Feedback was incredible. And it was more than I expected. I was like, whoa, like, okay, come on, Jesus. So then there was another song I did called Tremble. And when I did that song, it was like, okay, this is more of like the more intimate worship side of me. And so it's an amazing song. Mosaic MSC wrote the song, but I added my twist to it. And I was grateful that they allowed me to record the song. And so now I'm actually here in LA working on the EP. So that's a blessing. There's some things that I do have going on. Unfortunately, I have an NDA, so I can't really go into detail. But know that I am working on the next project. So the EP should be out this summer. And then on top of that, there's a couple of film situations. So I just thank God for the doors that are opening.
Doing it for the Lord. Okay, sis is working for the Lord.
Yes, indeed.
So what's that song I saw with, you know, the colors and, you know, I saw Joslynn.
Hey.
I said, okay. Look, I didn't even press the sound yet on Instagram, but I was feeling it.
Yeah. So that was Favorite. That's the one. That's, we call that the bop for Jesus. Okay, that's a bop. That's a bop. And so we just like to groove, and it just shows like you can still be saved. And like, you know, I just try to, and listen, no shade to the LGBTQ, whatever they are, but I wanted to show, the rainbow has been my favorite, I mean, my favorite expression of who God is. I've always thought, I was like, it's the promises of God, right? So I was like, what if we did a video with a whole bunch of rainbow colors? Then it's like, what? Like, you got something to tell us, woman of God? I said, no, there ain't that many. I ain't that ministry. No shade to nobody. But I was like, no, but I've always loved the rainbow. That's my favorite color is pink, but I just feel like if we color block this thing, I just see it. Like, if I can get a rainbow on a wall or something, and we found this wall, like, and it was just cascading with rainbow. I was like, the Lord is in this place. So we decided to do it. And then it just, nice. Everything else just flew into line. With what we were doing, the whole concept came together. Shout out to First Take Films for shooting that video for me. Absolute amazing job. Look them up. And of course, like I said, Courtney London is my stylist on there. I did my own hair and makeup in that. You know, ball on the budget, thank you, Jesus. So, but it was absolutely amazing, and I'm grateful for the circle of friends that you see in the video. All of them are my real friends. So they were very supportive of that particular project, and we made it happen. It was just so random, and it was like, let's do it. And everybody's like, what? And then and I forgot to say that I also did a project for the promotion of Kamala Harris in the campaign. So I did a song with Mickey Stevenson called Put a Woman in the White House Today, and we actually put it out a year before she was running, because at that time she was running for president, and then she dropped out of the race. And so we were like, oh Lord, she dropped out, so we can't do it no more. But then when she got nominated on the same ticket with Biden and was in the running for VP, put the song back out. She's like, where's my song? So we got a little bit of, you know, a situation, and then we had the Voice to Vote show that was on Impact, TV One, all those kind of things that song was broadcast. And it was amazing. So we did that, and so that was another project I've done. So the Lord is just awesome. Opened up doors.
Definitely. So there's two more things before I let you go, because I don't want to hold you up. I know you busy. You know what I mean? I'm just, I'm blessed over here to catch an interview. Okay.
Right.
If you could give 3 brief things that you feel like molded you into who you are right now, what would they be?
Things?
Experiences or What made you?
Well, God.
I know He made you.
Yeah. If I said if it was into, I guess it would be my family, my son, and my trials.
So these are, as one of my good friends would say, these are your why.
Yeah.
Why you do what you do.
Because it wouldn't make sense for me to give up. It's almost like I've been plowing a field for 20 years and I have all these stalks of harvest already up, and I walk away from everything that has already come into full fruition. And so those are the things that keep me going. It's like, okay, this is the push that I needed. My dad is super supportive. My mom's super supportive. Having the support of my siblings and, and even down to my grandparents, they're both in heaven. But to know that even them, when I was younger, still like, Josh, you got this, push, keep singing, keep going, and they invested a lot of money into me as a kid, going to music schools all over. I was able to be a foreign exchange student in Japan and just having different experiences. A little black girl, so to me,
your family
they invested into me. They invested into me, and they gave me the option to choose what my path would be.
Yeah.
I wasn't just told, okay, you just got to do this, you got to do that.
Yeah.
It was like, okay, here's the world.
Yeah.
At a young age, I spent my 13th birthday in Japan. Like, what? That's crazy.
Yeah.
And so I never was limited in that sense of hey, this is it. Now you make your choices. You do what you feel is best. So yeah, I feel like that's what my 3 would have to be.
So you seem to be living, your dream. And I say seem because is there something else that you would like to achieve that you haven't yet, that you're striving towards?
There's a few things. Yes, I'm pursuing music, but I would like to, and I know one of my bestest friends, sister's friends, Philly Harper, y'all need to look up. She's a guru of everything. Clay House, Brandon House, shout out to them.
I may have to interview her too.
Yes, please.
Okay.
And so she actually is a person that is just a branding genius. And so she really encouraged me, like, Josh, you sitting up here talking to me, you dropping all these nuggets, you need a book, you need a seminar, you need a movie, you need all these things. And so I think that's one thing I want to achieve eventually, is eventually having books and having series and plays and movies out, because I feel like my story would be something that would be crazy. Okay. And even some of the creative things that I've already, experienced. And so I think that that's an avenue that I want to express. And then on top of that, my son, he has a speech delay. Okay. So I want to be able to even help moms who, fight the diagnosis that the doctors just put on your kid instead of spending time. Right. Because they were trying to deem my kid mentally retarded and autistic, and he has none of those things. He just has a speech delay, and he's hyper, so ADHD, which what 7-year-old isn't? Right. But knowing what to do and how to, counteract those things naturally, not with medication. Correct. I might have a passion for that. So yeah, I think those are the things I really want to tap into. Okay. And this is a big one, but eventually have a hospital of my own.
Okay, give me some. Yeah. That's my little touch and agree.
Yes. So that's
anything is possible.
Yes. So those are my little things that I'd like to do in the future. Yeah.
Well, if there's anything that I can help you with, I'll always reach out.
Yes.
I'm just a little bit creative. I ain't on,
a little bit.
Ophelia's level.
Listen, she came to my hotel and put up this whole set. About a little bit creative.
But definitely, if I can assist with anything, always reach out. It was, I remember meeting you in Atlanta.
Yes.
Like in person.
That was crazy.
And you really encouraged me, empowered me, because that was a leap of faith for me to actually step out to go to another city, and try to set up my product and things like that. It was a big step for me, so I appreciate the encouragement.
Yeah, we met at the YLC conference, and I'll never forget that day. I was trying to just enjoy the conference. And Philly will tell you, that was like the height. I had literally just signed divorce papers right before I got on the plane. It was crazy. Wow. And so I was like, God, I need you to do something on this trip for me. Yeah. And, I was going in just to lay out and cry. Nobody knew me. I was like, oh, God. I was having my whole pity party, snot, everything. I said, give me the altar workers. It was a mess. And so we were walking, I think I was trying to get my badge or something, because Philly I finally met up with her. And the Lord stopped me. and was like, tell her this. And I ain't seen you, met you, nothing. I was like, wait a minute. I said, I think I saw you on Instagram, but the Lord has shown me did. And next thing I know, you was just leaking. Yeah. And I was like, I don't even remember what I said, but I knew what God had said in that moment. And I think we've been stuck, like Chuck said.
Just like that. And I really, I needed to hear that. Everything that you said was so on point. It was just like...
It was
I got the pictures on my Instagram. I'm like,
he was stunned, and it was so funny because Philly was teasing me. He said, "See, I can't take you nowhere. You just always cut up." I said, and "Look, when he put it in me, I just say it." So I was just grateful for the connection. And,
me too. And look at it. How many years? Like 2 years later.
Yeah, 2 years.
And
two or 3 years. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Divine connections.
Yes.
I don't believe that a lot in my life happens by chance. I know that even when God tell me to do weird things, like come to LA with a friend.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, and let me tell you about this because she's prophetic too. So I was actually in Oklahoma with my mom, and I was helping her with some things. So I was actually flying back, and we hadn't talked in months. And I was flying back. She hit me up the night before I was leaving. She said, "Hey, I'm coming to LA. I'll be the 25th to the 30th. I said, "Shut up." Mm-hmm. I said, "Girl, I'm packing my bag to leave in the morning." And I said, "I'll see you when you get there." And she was like, "Okay." So I had to move some stuff around, but I was like, "Sis, I'm going to block this day off for you because I have some pre-records to do and everything like that." And I was like, "We got this. You can do it." And I'm just grateful for the connection. It was amazing. I got a new sister, and I love her. Her name's Julie. So she stuck too. So we're going to have to keep doing it together. We all stuck. We got a little click now. So, but it's just amazing to find like-minded faith people. That have balance, and that's what I love about the people that God attracts to me. And this season has been people that match the energy or where I'd like to go. There was some people that was just too low, that I had to let go in Jesus' name. And so, to now God, because that was a prayer of mine. I was like, God, please elevate my circle, elevate my circle of people who are trying to seek you, but on top of that, be about their business and their Father's business at the same time. And he's just been doing it, and the doors have been incredible. So I'm just grateful to call you my friend, my sister.
How can they follow you? I'm thankful to be your sister and all that. I'm over here blessed, you know what I mean? Over here like, you see see who coming up next on Up4 Discussion.
Right.
But how can they follow you, and how can they download your music? Just
Okay, so so on Instagram, I am Joslynn James. That's on Instagram. On Facebook, Joslynn James. Twitter, I don't even use it, but it's there, Joslynn James. And then all my music is on all digital platforms. So Apple Music, Spotify, Amazon Music, these wherever country and these or whatever, it don't matter. It's on all of them.
All of Indonesia.
All of them. All of them.
All platforms.
Right. And and then that's all of them. And then look for the new music that's coming. I'm excited.
You can follow me on all digital platforms at Up4 Discussion. My name is Shamika McNair, and you can also follow me at Coach Mei, MEI.
Yes. Jumbo challenge.
So what you have right here in front of you,
what
is my new line of candles,
the glory.
Okay. All Me collection, and the MEI stands for motivation, empowerment, and inspiration, because that's what I desire to do through my product.
Yes.
As you can see, millionaire in the making.
Hey.
I believe that we are all millionaires in the making.
Yes, ma'am.
So that's what I'm here, just to motivate, empower, inspire those that I come across, whether it's through candles, T-shirts, home decor coming soon.
Yes.
So I just want to get your review on this candle that you get ready to take with you.
Jesus, I'm taking this with me. What? Keep going.
So this is the Miami Winter. And
Miami Winter.
Tell me what you think. Be real. Be real. Do you like it?
Bye. I love it. It has it's rose, it's coconut, it's just the glory. You want to feel the presence of God through your nostrils. This is it, okay? This is it. I love it. It smells bomb.
That's teak wood.
Oh yeah, I'm taking this one. In Jesus'
the
name.
Coconut, I think
God.
Honestly, what do you think?
Bomb.
Okay.
Let me see. I gotta spray it on you. Jesus. Let it sit.
It's chemical free.
Girl, let me tell you something. This is gonna help me find my next husband. Let me tell you. Oh, Jesus, come on here. That's a good spray. You hear me? That's anointed. That spray went on to the end of the earth. Let's see. Oh my God. Jesus.
Jesus.
Let me tell you something. You want to find your next husband, it's in this scent, Doc. This is the serum.
Listen, you know when you said that, I'm telling you, all my reviews are the same. You cannot make this up.
Listen.
One of my friends called and said that she can't keep men off of her. She said, "What's in it?"
Look. No, I want to keep them off, but this is a very clean, pleasant, fresh smell. Like it just, you can, when you walk in the room, they be like, "What is that?" It's going literally,
And they literally do
and it's
that.
light. It's not overbearing. Like, girl,
Yeah.
bye. I'm taking this with me. This is amazing.
Thank you.
And it's called Shami. Shami fragrance. I'm telling you, it's the bomb. Get it.
Available at my website.
Yes. Amazing.
Thank you. I definitely appreciate the review.
Yeah.
I do. Thank you.